What's going on, everybody? My name is C4. Welcome back to more C4, your home for all things Philadelphia Eagles. Sorry if my voice gets. I was screaming. I'll give full credit to the Commanders as Philly wins 34-31 in overtime. Like, it was an intense game. I was losing my mind. When Jalen Hurts called an audible that A.J. Brown was on the same page, threw it just in the end zone, got an intentional grounding, lost it down in overtime. That was probably the most angry I've been in a minute. Philadelphia Eagles football. But in the end, Jake Elliott made a kick. And I posed this question. I posted it on Twitter. Jake Elliott is the best kicker in the history of the Eagles. I think he's surpassed David Akers. You know, you look at it right now. What do you have? Akers has the stats. Akers wasn't a ridiculously clutch kicker. Had a terrible game in the Super Bowl we lost against the Patriots. Jake Elliott, on the other hand, won a Super Bowl. Jake Elliott is 8 for 8 in game-winning kicks. There has never been a situation where we put Jake Elliott on the field, and if he misses a kick, we lose the game, that he's ever missed a kick. And I think, eventually Jake Elliott is going to continue to be our kicker, and he will catch David Akers for those all-time stats. Like, David Akers only has some longevity and an awesome draft pick speech. And you know what? I watched, prime David Akers when I was getting into football. I don't know if that's a hot take. Fire off in the comments. And we're going to start with a hot kicker conversation right now. But big win for the Philadelphia Eagles. And I'll get this little water going here. Actually, I don't need it right now. Shout out to the Commanders. They play an ugly brand of football that is sure as hell efficient every time they come to Lincoln Financial Field. To put it in Madden terms, Commanders come to town. Offensive game plan is dink and dunk with chew clock on. And you know what? When you're the lesser team in terms of talent, it's kind of what you got to do. And I respect them for that. You know what? Having an off-brand style of football that's efficient on the road against a divisional opponent. You know, if Philly sucked and Commanders were the top dogs, I would almost hope the Eagles did that every single time. So you got that to hang your hat on. But however, for the Commanders to come out and be like, the tush push, the brotherly shove, the sneak is not football, it's ugly football, it's a rugby play, all this stuff. You play like the most boring brand of football. It's efficient. I'm not going to shit talk it, but it kind of feels like you're throwing rocks in a glass house when you're talking about attractive football, what's real football, when the Commanders come in, dink and dunk, chew clock. Maybe just chill a little bit on the hot takes around the sneaks there, Jack Del Rio. And I don't hate the Commanders, man. I've been pro Sam Howell since he was coming to North Carolina. Pretty good game. Scary Terry had a good game. Another point where I lost my freaking mind was on the Jahan Dotson touchdown. Clearly, that's where they were going. On one side of the field, it was Slay and Bradbury again on Curtis Samuel and Scary Terry. And the bottom of the screen, no safety help, was Josh Jobe one-on-one with Jahan Dotson, first round. I was like, he's going there. I got to start streaming live watch-alongs because I lost my mind. Sure enough, touchdown, Jahan, hell of a throw. Too little, too late, though, for the Commanders. I think the right team won. I think Philly was the better team overall on the day. And just another year that when you see Commanders in Philly, you know it's going to be a close game. You know it's going to be an ugly game. Luckily, Philly got the job done here today. Looking at the players, breaking it down, Jalen Hurts, 25-37, 320, 2 tutties, 34 yards. Throwing the ball, Hurts was hit or miss, but a lot more hits than misses. Really, his worst play was that intentional grounding in overtime. But running the ball, does Jalen Hurts seem slower to you guys? Or disinterested running the football? There's something off there. I don't know if, he wants to take less hits this year, which is definitely smart. He's the franchise. You got paid, needs you out there for 17 games plus, 19 games ideally, right? But if that's the case, and you're going to utilize Hurts for the sneaks, and you're going to use Hurts for improvisational plays, off-script plays, fine. But they're still designing quarterback runs for Jalen Hurts that he just seems like he couldn't care less that he's running it. So let's less of those and feed DeAndre Swift more than 14 times. Get Kenny Gainwell more involved. Get Boston Scott more involved. But I don't know. There's something off about Jalen Hurts scrambling, and I don't want to say something off if it is him protecting himself, because that's what we need. I need Jalen Hurts in for the full season. Then I need Jalen Hurts being able to get 5 yards instead of 1 yard on these not great quarterback run calls that are coming in. But something is a little bit off. But generally here, I'll give Jalen Hurts a B+ today. A couple, plays that might not show up on the box score that were not ideal, not Jalen Hurts that we're used to. Offense still seems out of sync at times. And we're, 4 weeks in the season. You would like to see, I think, generally speaking, in the passing offense, a little bit more chemistry. Everyone on the same page right now. That's not necessarily the case, but able to survive. We've got the Rams next week, and hopefully it's just another opportunity for the passing offense to just fine-tune itself a little bit more and get ready up and firing on all cylinders. So B+ for Jalen Hurts. Run game, 56 yards and a tutty for DeAndre Swift. I hope everybody and on their respecting betting sites, and I think everyone had like some sort of Swift Kelsey touchdown parlay, boosted parlay. Hope everyone took it. Swift got his tutty here. It's all on Kelsey tonight, which, that's already going to happen. Script writers already wrote that down. A permanent marker. Can't be erased. The run game was solid. I mean, not too often the other team outrushes us. And it was obviously very thin margins here, but 107 for the Commanders, 104 for the Eagles. I think some of that, though, was the Commanders in the first half just long-ass drives. So Philly couldn't really establish the run because they didn't have a whole lot of clock to work with. But generally speaking, still saw a lot of the DeAndre Swift to go, yeah, as long as he stay healthy, he should firmly be leading the backfield in carries. There was a Kenneth Gainwell run on 3rd and 11, and I don't know where we were like in the 30 or 20 of the Commanders going to score. We ended up had to settle for a field goal. Don't know if I'm giving Kenny Gainwell the ball there on 3rd and 11 design run. Real suspect play call. And I like Kenny G, but if you're running that play's a run 3rd and 11 call all day long. I'm probably having number 0 in the backfield. Guy that's shown to have a lot more juice right now. And honestly, John Swift looks like he's had the most juice out of anybody on the offense, not just in the running back room. So definitely keep feeding him. I'll give the running backs today, I'll give him B. A little bit of a quiet day by their standards, but still, for the most part, got their job done. No real complaints. Passing the ball, 9 catches, 175 yards, and a touchdown for A.J. Brown. Now, he did taunt in the face of rookie Emmanuel Forbes, which gave a short field for the Commanders for them to then go on a drive to force this game to overtime, which wasn't smart. But, it's kind of like breaking even. You take the good with the bad, and at the end, we got the win, so it's not going to be that bad. If we lose, you're probably a lot more critical of A.J. Brown on that penalty. 7 catches, 78 yards for Devontae. A couple of those were chain moving, big time catches. Had that ridiculous one in the first half where it was a shot play downfield. He somehow found a way to come down with it. We're blessed to have A.J. Brown and a Heisman Trophy winning wide receiver at the skill position spots here. Definitely been surprised for how little we've seen Dallas Goedert this year. Don't know really he's just not getting a lot of targets. So to say, he had a drop, which kind of was uncharacteristic. It wasn't really necessarily a huge play. Wasn't going to get a first down or anything, but he did have a drop. But, you want to get all your guys firing on all cylinders. And I think that is definitely a missing piece. The offense doesn't seem to still be firing on all cylinders. And a big part of that is we've yet to be able to find a way to have AJ and Devontae get involved and be able to find Dallas Goedert find a way to get involved. So, still some ironing out there, but generally speaking, especially when you have A.J. Brown have the kind of day they did, to really be overly critical on the Eagles receivers. So I'll give them an A for their job here today. Special teams outstanding, right? Britton Covey has been a nice little shot in the ass, getting us 8 to 10 yards every single punt return. Jake Elliott continues to be absolute money. I don't know where he was kicking today. 4 for 4 today with a long of 54. Punter didn't, we can't even see it right now. Punter didn't really seem that great. Braden Mann. But overall, we'll get special teams. We'll get an A+ because Jake Elliott did the damn thing. Defensively, over 20 tackles for Zach Cunningham. Nick Morrow trying to go for the sack title. 3 sacks here today, which is ridiculous. Slay had over 20 tackle. What? Or 11. Or 11. Okay, I'm misreading it. I thought these were solo and combined. Either way, not the best game. You don't want to give up 31 to the Commanders. Especially they only get, 3 against the Bills. And now you're going to be comparing Philly with Buffalo as who's the top team in the league. This will be a game that casual fans will compare what the Bills did to the Commanders versus what the Eagles did to the Commanders. But, again, just awkward. The Commanders play us awkward. They play us differently than they definitely were playing the Buffalo Bills. And, you're not going to necessarily tip your hat to the defense, giving up 31 points to the Commanders. Still was a lot of good. Again, 3 sacks, Nicholas Morrow. Josh Sweat got pressure. Hassan Riddick finally got a sack. First game with the cast-off. We need Hassan Riddick to start heating up. Literally, when do you get that sack? 4th quarter? It was still 3 pretty quiet quarters there from Hassan Riddick. And for a guy that is definitely a top 10 pass rusher in the NFL, need him to get up to speed. Need him to start being a game changer that we know he can be. Quiet game for Jalen Carter. Definitely for Jalen Carter and Jordan Davis. Not their finest performances. But, D tackles are not going to be able to take over every week, especially with, they're not Aaron Donald yet. They're still working their way out there, so it's the consistency is something that is going to come as they get more experience. I thought Fletch had a pretty good game as well. Defense, B minus. I'd say is probably a pretty fair grade across the board. I think that's kind of for the Philadelphia Eagles here today. B minus. You knew it was going to be a tough game against the Commanders. You would have liked to see them not have to go to overtime to beat them. It's a divisional opponent, ugly game. So, we're 4-0. You got to answer this almost like a Jalen Hurts press conference. We're 4-0. We won the game. That's all that matters. On to the Rams next week. But I would love to hear you guys think about it. If I had to give game ball, we'll go A.J. Brown on the offense. Defensively, I mean, Morrow was great. Reed Blankenship was great. Probably a toss-up between... even Zach Cunningham was great. For these two linebackers that we got off the street, they've been playing some pretty decent football here for the Philadelphia Eagles. A lot of people say we need to trade for Patrick Queen, need to trade for, whoever. These guys have done a great job. But overall, who's the greatest kicker of all time? Let me know in the comment section below. We'll see you guys back here next week for the Eagles-Rams, hopefully moving to 5-0. Till then, it's Boise Force, and peace out. Love ya. Have a good one.